knowing this type of model, I have to plug, it's using a constant elasticity, if it's gonna be doing this power thing, I have to put in a dummy variable for price. It really doesn't matter what I put in, I just can't have it be 0, can't leave it blank. Okay, currently we sell them for $3.50, so I'll just throw a $3.50 in there. And now, this part of what I'm doing, that included, is exactly like what I did in the last problem at the end of the class on Tuesday. It's just like it. What do I do to put demand in here? I use the equation, y equals, y being demand, it equals ax raised to the b. So a, the constant, times x, and x is this price, not that price up there, it's this price right here that's a part of this model. Okay, it has to be a part of this. Okay, so ax raised to the b. A lot of cells are named in this because the stuff that I know is coming. Okay, but ax raised to the b, that's the b9 times price, this price, raised to the 2.5, negative 2.5. All right, profit that comes from the suits. Well, the profit that comes from the suits, again, I'm going to calculate this just like I calculated profit at the end of class last time, which I didn't separate them out, so I have to basically get revenue being price times demand, and subtract from it cost, which would then be the cost times the demand. Okay, this is a repeat of what we did last time. Okay, so I put that in revenue minus cost. I want for a moment for us to do this problem as if there were no other products. I haven't even really talked about them yet, but there's more information on the sheet that we're going to use, but let's don't use it yet. Let's just pretend there are no other products, and I'm just trying to figure out the price to sell these suits at that will maximize my profit as if I only had suits and that was all. Okay? So there will be no profit from shirts and ties because we haven't even talked about that yet, but I am going to go ahead and put a formula in here for total profit. It will be eventually the sum of both of these. Well, it's the sum of both of these right now. We're just pretending there is nothing that comes from this, okay? So the total profit sums both of those up. Okay, ignoring all those other products, just doing this. I do just what I did at the end of the last time. I go into Solver, and I maximize profit by changing price. Nothing new here, maximize this profit by changing this price. And I will add a constraint that says that the selling price has to be greater than or equal to the cost to us. Yeah, totally the same that we did before. Maximize profit by changing price, subject to the price having to be greater than the cost. And when I solve this, if that truly is all that I sell, I would price the suits well above what I have them right now. I'd price them at $533.33, and I'd make profit of $22,000 off of suits. And that'd be it, okay? I'd be done. Turns out, however, that we actually do sell other stuff. We sell some shirts and ties every time somebody comes in and buys a suit. We have figured out that on average, this isn't an exact thing, but on average, a person that buys a suit would also buy 1.5, okay, they're not buying half ties, but on average, 1.5 ties and 2 shirts for every suit that we sell. Okay, that's what we've just figured out over time. So let me go ahead and include that down here as additional profit that we might have made, okay, or we would be making if they are buying those extra things. So I'm going to come down here and get that extra profit in here. How do you want me to put that in here? It's $15 per unit, but on average they're doing 1.5, $25 a unit on shirts, and on average they're doing about 2. How do you want me to put that in here?
Like you have to multiply the ties times the demand.
Well, not yet. I mean, yes, but we got to get this in first. And you're right, it is some product. I mean, we do have to do that, yeah. But let's, what we're getting for each one, I know you probably know which one it is, the sum product of how many we think we get, you know, on average, and how much per unit of profit that is, okay, that's giving us the tie and shirt profit per suit, and that brings us to what you were saying. We now have to take that and multiply it by what? Demand, because that's the suit, that's not suit, the shirt and tie profit for every suit that we sell. Okay, so we now multiply this times however many suits we sell, which is our demand. Okay. So yeah, we did the sum product of this, because for everyone we're getting, you know, $22.50, we're getting $72.50 additional, on average, $72.50 additional for all the suits we sell. This is how many suits we're selling. Okay, so I'm gonna plug this number, that 29,916, I'm gonna write it over here real quick. I don't wanna forget it. Okay. So if we solved our problem, ignoring the fact that we sell shirts and ties, and just solved it to see what's the profit maximizing price on suits only, we would have said, price them at $533. This is how many we'll sell, that's how much profit we'll make from suits. Oh, by the way, we get shirt and tie profit too, and our total profit would have ended up being $29,916. Okay, that's not really the right way to go about this though. Because if we know that some of our profit comes from other things, then that should be incorporated into the model itself, not just, as I did, put it in there later. So let's instead rerun the model like it is now, where I'm profit maximizing, figuring out this price, profit maximizing to figure out this price with this included in it. See, last time I ran it, I didn't have that included in it. So let me include it this time.
Can you click on the profits from shirts and ties one more time?
Yeah, it's the sum product of this area up here, okay, multiplied by demand.
Okay.
Okay, so let's rerun this solver model. I actually don't have to do anything to solver because it's already all set up. It's just now I have this in here where I didn't have that in there before when I ran it the last time. Okay. Let's just rerun the whole thing. And interestingly, it says no, don't sell them at $533, sell them at $412.50. Almost doubles my demand, okay? Makes this much profit from suits, this much from shirts, and actually makes $32,826. Because I sell them a little bit lower, I get more demand, and I sell more shirts and ties, so you know, the whole thing works together. If I ran the model and didn't take the other into account, I lose out on, see the $29,916? I lose out on almost $3,000 worth of profit that it could have had if I had priced the suits fully taking into account the fact that other things were being sold too, okay? So if I'd fully taken all that into account, then I would have priced them accordingly, and then I would have actually made more money, okay? Because I would have drummed up more demand and more things would have been sold. Does that make sense? So now, what if I'm not entirely sure that I'm right about this? Okay, maybe I sell half as much as what I think. Maybe I sell twice as much as what I think. I don't know, okay? I'm not entirely sure. So I'm gonna add this new little sensitivity factor in here, which at the moment, I'm just gonna put a 1 in here. Okay, I'm just gonna put a 1 into that cell. But that cell, I'm gonna take that cell and use it in the formula down here in B16 where the profit for shirts and ties is. I'm gonna take my profit from shirts and ties and tack on a multiplying by this sensitivity factor. Okay, formula that was already there, and now say times this sensitivity factor. Okay, I put a 1 in there right now, so it's not gonna change anything. Okay, I just put a 1, so it's not a big deal.
What's the sensitivity factor?
The sensitivity factor, because I multiplied it down here, is gonna allow me to adjust how much profit I'm getting from shirts and ties. Like if I make this a 0.5, it'll cut this in half. If I make it a 2, it'll double it, okay? So, but instead of me just going through and saying, okay, what would it be? Put a 0.5 in, resolve it. Put a 2 in, resolve it. What do I do instead of that? I use solver table to do it for me, to run a bunch of different things. But that sensitivity factor is what I'm doing the solver table on, because it gave me the ability to adjust how much profit I'm getting from shirts and ties. You know, if I was only getting half as much, how would I price things? If I was getting twice as much, how would I price things, okay? So I'm gonna go in now and do this solver table. So one way, because the only thing that I'm gonna change is that sensitivity factor right there in E9. Okay, so my sensitivity factor, I am pulling these parameters right off the PowerPoint. It says change our sensitivity factor from 0 to 3 in 0.5 increments. Okay, so I'm pulling that straight from the PowerPoint. From 0 to 3 in 0.5 increments. Okay, so change that sensitivity factor, make it nothing. We truly don't sell anything else, or all the way up to twice as much, 3 times as much, half as much. You know, it's going to vary, all of those things. The things there are actually a lot of things I think would be interesting to look at in this. So for output cells, I'm going to choose every single one of these because I'd like to know if that sensitivity, if we sell more, if we sell less, how does that affect my price? How does it affect demand? How does it affect the profit I get from suits, the profit I get from everything else, or the other stuff, and the total profit? I want to know all 5 of those things. So I'm actually going to choose all 5 of those as output. And I'm going to click OK. Oh, do not want to use multi-start, so I say no. Here's what happened. Here's where I was when I believed that I'm selling what I have on the spreadsheet originally, the 1.5 ties, 2 shirts, okay. I priced it at $412. I get this demand just under 200. This is what I get. Total profit was $32,826. We already knew what it was 0 because we had run it that way. You know, if we didn't get any money from any other source, we would price them at $533. That'd be our total profit. If it was half as much, we'd price them at $472, almost $473. Half, you know, kind of in between demand, a little bit of change here, not quite as much profit as this, but more than that. If I had twice as much demand, price it at $320, do this, don't do anything. This is interesting. What do you see interesting about those results as you get to higher sensitivity factors? In other words, if you truly believed that your shirts and ties, you were selling twice as many, 3 times as many as what you think you are, what would it cause you to do? You would price them at $320, which also happens to be the cost, which then therefore you'd make no money off of suits, which you'd make all this money on shirts and ties. That actually is even better, and so you make more money by doing it that way. That's interesting. Why'd we stop at $320? Because we'd be losing money if we went below that on suits. What was that?
We have a constraint that says that the prices we have on the cost.
So we put a constraint in there that said, don't sell the suits below cost. Let's take that out. Let's go right back over to that model, go into Solver, and let's take that out. Let's delete that. Okay. I'm going to resolve it after I delete it. Obviously doesn't change this right here. So after I have now deleted that, because we told it not to. We told it not to sell the suits below cost. Okay, I pulled that out. I go, and I reran it. Go into Solver Table. Solver Table is completely set up, absolutely just exactly like I want it. I do not have to change anything about Solver Table. Okay, I adjusted my Solver model. I don't need to adjust anything in Solver Table, just run it again. Don't use multi-start. Look what it tells me to do. When I don't constrain it and tell it it can't sell below cost, look what it does. And like you said, anything below cost is a loss. We actually lose money on suits, but we make so much more money on suits and ties because these low prices are bringing in tremendous demand. Okay, these low prices are bringing in this huge demand, and we make more money on the suits side. We actually do better this way. At the 55, 78, 123, as compared to 54, 68, 81, we are definitely doing better if we price these below. So here's the deal. The very first time, last time, when on one of these previous models, I put in let's put a constraint that says selling price should be, you know, greater than or equal